Lamar Jenkins, a 14-year-old freshman at Jefferson High School in South Chicago, was known for his quiet nature and compassionate heart. Despite the challenges of growing up in a rough neighborhood, Lamar was raised by his single mother, Carla, who taught him to always treat others with respect. Carla worked 2 jobs to support their family, often leaving Lamar in charge of his younger sister, Maya. After school, this responsibility made Lamar mature quickly, and he became attuned to the hardships faced by others. Each day, Lamar took the bus to school, a time for him to unwind, often spent reading a book or sketching. But on this particular Monday, the bus was especially crowded. Construction on the main road forced more commuters onto public transportation, creating a tense atmosphere as people jostled for space. Lamar managed to find a seat near the back, grateful for the chance to rest his legs after a weekend of helping his mother clean their small apartment. As the bus lurched through traffic, Lamar's attention was drawn to a woman who had just boarded. She was clearly pregnant, her hand resting on her swollen belly, struggling to maintain her balance. The woman, who appeared to be in her early 30s, had pale skin, her blonde hair matted with sweat from exhaustion. Despite her obvious discomfort, no one seemed inclined to offer her a seat. Some passengers ignored her completely, others distracted by their phones. Without thinking twice, Lamar stood up, gathered his backpack, and approached the woman. "Excuse me, ma'am, would you like to sit down?" he asked politely. The woman looked at Lamar in surprise, and then gratitude spread across her face. "Oh, thank you so much," she said, easing herself into the seat with a sigh of relief. "You're very kind." Lamar simply nodded, offering a small smile before grabbing onto a nearby pole. He couldn't help but notice a few raised eyebrows and whispers from the other passengers. One elderly man muttered, "Kids these days, actually having manners," while a woman in a business suit gave Lamar an approving nod. The rest of the ride was uneventful, but Lamar couldn't stop thinking about the pregnant woman. Was this her first child? Was she scared or excited? His mind wandered as he wondered what her life had been like, much like he had wondered about his own mother when she was pregnant with Maya. As he neared his stop, Lamar almost missed it, his thoughts still on the woman. But just as he was about to step off the bus, she tapped him on the shoulder. "Wait," she said, breathless, pressing a folded piece of paper into his hand. "Please read this when you have a moment. Thank you again." Confused but intrigued, Lamar nodded and stepped off the bus, slipping the note into his pocket. As he walked toward school, he felt the weight of the note in his pocket, curiosity growing with every step. Lamar's day passed in a blur. Classes, homework, friends, and conversations all seemed to blur together as his mind returned again and again to the folded note in his pocket. By the time the final bell rang, Lamar's excitement and curiosity were nearly unbearable. He rushed to his usual spot in the courtyard to meet his younger sister, Maya. Once they were walking home, Lamar finally allowed himself to unfold the note. His hands trembled slightly as he read the words, "Dear young man, your act of kindness this morning touched me deeply. In a world where it is so easy to turn a blind eye to the struggles of others, you chose to see me and help. What you may not know is that I needed that kindness more than you could imagine. I am not just pregnant, I am a widow. My husband, a soldier, was killed in action just 2 months ago. Since then, each day has been a struggle. This morning, I was on my way to a job interview, the first I've had since my husband's passing. I was exhausted, scared, and feeling very alone. Your simple act of offering me your seat gave me the strength to walk into that interview with my head held high. That's not all. As I sat there, watching you stand and hold onto that pole, I couldn't help but think of my late husband. He was a black man, just like you, and he faced many challenges because of the color of his skin. Yet, just like you, he never let that stop him from being kind and doing what was right. I don't know your situation, young man, but I want you to know that your kindness and your character will take you far in life. To that end, I want to help you as you have helped me. Enclosed, you will find the business card of my late husband's best friend, who runs a prestigious law firm in the city. He has been looking for someone to mentor, and he has agreed to meet with you if you are interested. This could be a life-changing opportunity for you, but please know that you are under no obligation to accept. Regardless of what you choose, I want you to know that your kindness today made a real difference. You renewed my faith in humanity. At a time when I desperately needed it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Sincerely, Sarah Anderson. Lamar read the note 3 times, his hands shaking with disbelief. A mentorship? A potential scholarship for college and law school? It seemed too good to be true. As the reality began to sink in, Lamar felt a mix of excitement, fear, and gratitude. This opportunity could change his life forever. The next day, he confided in his mother, Carla. They researched Sarah's late husband's law firm and found it to be a prestigious establishment with a long history of community outreach. After making the call, Lamar was soon scheduled to meet with Mr. Anderson, Sarah's late husband's best friend. The meeting was a revelation. Mr. Anderson, a tall, kind-eyed man with graying hair, welcomed Lamar and his mother into the firm's sleek downtown offices. Lamar couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by the contrast between this world and the one he knew so well. Mr. Anderson explained the mentorship program, detailing the academic support, internships, and a full scholarship to law school, contingent on Lamar's performance. Lamar, he said, leaning forward, what you did for Sarah spoke volumes about your character. In the legal profession, integrity and compassion are just as important as intelligence. We believe you have the potential to be an exceptional lawyer. Lamar left the office in a daze. He was both terrified and elated. For the first time, he saw a future for himself beyond his neighborhood, beyond the narrow limits he had assumed were all he could ever have. But doubts lingered. Could someone like him really make it in such a world? Lamar's decision to embrace the mentorship program set his life on a new path. His academic success skyrocketed as he dove into rigorous tutoring sessions. But the shift also came with sacrifices. He could no longer look after Maya after school, forcing Carla to adjust her work schedule. While the tutoring sessions exposed Lamar to advanced subjects, they also distanced him from old friends. Some of them resented his new focus on academics, while others, like Marcus, his childhood best friend, accused him of selling out. Despite the alienation, Lamar grew closer to his new mentors and peers in the mentorship program, who shared his ambition and determination. The first summer of the program brought a turning point. Lamar interned at the law firm, gaining real-world experience. But an ethical dilemma arose when he overheard a conversation about a case where a corporation was trying to exploit legal loopholes. Lamar discussed his concerns with Mr. Anderson, who praised his moral compass. You know, Lamar, this is why we chose you. Mr. Anderson said, never lose this integrity. As Lamar approached his senior year of high school, an unexpected crisis threw him into a moral battle. His younger sister, Maya, had been arrested during a protest against police brutality. The protest had escalated into chaos when the police attempted to disperse the crowd. Maya faced charges of resisting arrest and assaulting an officer. Lamar immediately flew home to Chicago, where he navigated the very system he had studied and prepared to fight. In the police station, his old frustration resurfaced when an officer dismissed his legal credentials. But Lamar stood firm. I may not be licensed yet, he said, but I'm a law student, and I have the right to represent my sister. As Lamar worked to defend Maya, he realized that this case represented more than just his sister's fight. It was about the entire community, the young people who fought for justice but were often left without the resources to defend themselves. The legal battle for Maya's case turned into a broader struggle for justice, involving civil rights organizations and public protests. Lamar, now a seasoned legal advocate, approached the district attorney with a proposal for restorative justice, offering Maya and the other protesters a chance to engage in dialogue with law enforcement, rather than face criminal charges. The public pressure and Lamar's impassioned plea for a restorative approach led to an unexpected resolution. The charges against Maya were dropped in exchange for her participation in a restorative justice program. The police department also agreed to review its protest protocols. This victory wasn't perfect, but it was a significant step toward reform. Lamar realized that true justice wasn't always about winning in court. It was about fostering understanding and healing. Years later, Lamar, now a law school graduate, found himself standing at a podium, accepting the inaugural award for his work with the Second Seat Foundation, a nonprofit he founded to support young activists facing legal challenges. The foundation had become a national model, helping young people fight back against systemic injustice. At the foundation's 5th anniversary celebration, Lamar looked out at the crowd, young activists, community leaders, and people whose lives had been changed by his work. He realized that his journey, which had started with a simple act of kindness on a crowded bus, had come full circle. As he spoke, Lamar reflected on how his life had evolved from a boy who gave up his seat to a pregnant woman, to a man who had created a seat for others. The Foundation's work wasn't just about legal representation, it was about creating space for young people to be heard, understood, and supported. The boy who had once given up his seat on the bus had found his place in the world, not just a seat, but a platform to uplift others and create lasting change. Lamar's journey was a testament to the power of kindness and the far-reaching ripple effect one small action can have. From a chance encounter with a stranger on a bus to founding a national nonprofit, Lamar had become a force for change, determined to use his opportunities to empower others. His story was no longer just his own, it had become the story of many. And the journey was far from over.